Your grocery bill is not just rising because food costs more. It also rises because stores are very good at getting you to buy the wrong amount, the wrong package, at the wrong time. The painful truth is that a cart can look responsible and still leak money every week. By the end, you will know which foods make sense as monthly stock-ups, which ones should stay on a short leash, and how to spot the pricing traps hiding in plain sight. The rules here are grounded in food safety, basic economics, and how grocery retail actually works. Start with one important correction. A smart monthly grocery plan does not mean buying every bite you will eat for the next month in one giant trip. That sounds efficient, but with fragile food, it can become an expensive way to fill your trash can. Fresh berries, salad greens, soft herbs, bakery bread, fresh fish, and some dairy can be wonderful foods. They are just terrible candidates for careless monthly stockpiling. The monthly cart should be boring in the best possible way. It should contain the backbone foods that rescue dinner when you are tired, stop expensive takeout when plans collapse, and give you choices without demanding that you eat the same meal 4 nights in a row. That matters because grocery inflation is not imaginary. Federal price data from July of 2026 showed food at home costing more than a year earlier, and different categories moved at different speeds. So the goal is not to find one magical cheap store or one perfect coupon app. The goal is to change the structure of the cart. Here is the rule that changes everything. Stock up monthly on foods with long, useful lives that you already eat. Then buy perishables in smaller planned amounts during the month. And there is another rule people hate because it ruins the fun of a sale. A discount on something you did not need is still spending. Saving $3 is not saving money if the purchase adds $7 to a bill that would otherwise never have happened. Build the monthly foundation with dry grains you actually use. Rice, oats, pasta, barley, couscous, and similar staples can stretch proteins, absorb sauces, turn leftovers into meals, and stay useful far longer than delicate produce. Do not buy all of them. Oats deserve special attention because they are not trapped in breakfast. They can become oatmeal, baked dishes, snack mixtures, and even a binder in some savory recipes. The money mistake is not choosing a particular style. Rice is another monthly workhorse, but the giant bag is not automatically the smartest bag. If your household eats rice constantly and stores it safely, larger sizes may make sense. If you cook it twice a month, tying up cash and cabinet space in a huge sack is not thrift. Pasta earns its place because it is flexible, fast, and easy to portion. The expensive part often appears after the pasta enters the cart. Premium sauce, specialty cheese, prepared meat, and impulse bread. Dry beans and lentils are some of the most useful monthly proteins because they store well and can move between soups, bowls, stews, salads, tacos, and side dishes. They do require planning. Canned beans are the convenience version worth comparing. Look at the unit price, the drained amount when relevant, and the sodium if that matters for your diet. Canned tomatoes are another monthly staple because they can become pasta sauce, soup, chili, curry, braises, and skillet meals without racing a spoilage clock. Whole, diced, crushed, and paste have different uses. Canned fish or other shelf-stable protein can also make sense when it fits your household. The trap is assuming every can is a bargain. Nut butter is useful because it is calorie-dense, versatile, and usually has a long, unopened shelf life. But compare ingredient lists and unit prices instead of assuming the largest jar wins. Cooking oil belongs in the monthly plan only at a size that matches your cooking. A larger bottle can have a better sticker price per ounce and still be a worse purchase if the oil oxidizes before you use it. Flour, cornmeal, baking powder, baking soda, and common baking ingredients can be smart stock-ups for people who actually bake. For everyone else, they are classic aspirational groceries. Spices are where tiny packages can carry surprisingly large markups. You do not need a wall of matching jars. You need the seasonings that make your inexpensive staples taste different, enough to stay interesting. But spices lose aroma and flavor over time, so the giant economy jar can be false economy for a small household. The right amount is not the biggest amount. It is the amount you can realistically use while it still tastes good. Salt, pepper, vinegar, mustard, soy sauce, hot sauce, and other high-use condiments can belong in the monthly inventory, but check the refrigerator door before buying another bottle. Condiments are notorious duplicates because they disappear visually. Canned broth and boxed stock are convenient, but they are mostly water by weight. Compare them with concentrates, bouillon, or homemade stock if those options fit your cooking and dietary needs. Convenience can still be worth paying for. Now move to the freezer, because this is where a monthly plan can quietly become powerful. Frozen vegetables are not a nutritional consolation prize. Frozen peas, broccoli, mixed vegetables, spinach, corn, peppers, and similar basics can go straight into soups, stir-fries, pasta, rice, casseroles, and eggs. The best choice is not the mix with the fanciest seasoning packet. Frozen fruit works the same way for smoothies, oatmeal, yogurt, baking, and sauces. Fresh fruit can be wonderful when you will eat it quickly. Frozen fruit wins when the alternative is repeatedly throwing away soft berries you bought with good intentions. The freezer also makes monthly protein buying possible, but only when you portion before the food becomes a frozen brick. Chicken, fish, ground meat, and other proteins can be divided into meal-sized amounts and frozen according to safe handling guidance. Do not confuse frozen with immortal. Food kept properly frozen remains safe for a very long time, but quality can decline. Freezer burn is primarily a quality issue, not proof that food became dangerous. Bread can also move from the weekly danger zone into the monthly system if your household freezes it successfully. Freeze part of a loaf before mold has a chance to win. Then take out slices as needed. Coffee and tea are common monthly buys, but they reveal how much money can hide inside habit. Single-serve formats offer speed and consistency, yet they can cost more per drink than larger packages. The cheapest format is not automatically best if it ruins your routine. Breakfast cereal can be a monthly item if your household eats it predictably. But the cereal aisle is a lesson in package psychology. Box height can distract from net weight. Family-size wording can sound economical without proving anything. That is why monthly buying should be based on consumption history, not optimism. Look at what your household finished last month. Those are your candidates. The foods you repeatedly threw away, forgot, or replaced with takeout are not stock-up winners. Now consider canned soup, frozen meals, boxed dinners, and other prepared foods. They can be valuable emergency tools because a moderately priced convenience meal at home may prevent a much more expensive restaurant order. But do not let emergency food become the entire cart. A useful monthly pantry needs a few fast meals that require almost no decision-making. Pasta and canned tomatoes, rice and beans, frozen vegetables with eggs, soup with frozen bread, oats with fruit. Now we reach the foods you should not casually buy by the month. Delicate fresh produce. Lettuce, berries, herbs, mushrooms, ripe stone fruit, and other short-life items can become expensive if bought in ambitious quantities. Buy fragile produce around actual meals. If spinach is for 2 dinners and 1 breakfast, buy enough for that. If strawberries are for snacks, know who will eat them and when. This sounds painfully obvious, but grocery waste often begins with vague intentions. Hardier produce can bridge longer periods. Potatoes, onions, carrots, cabbage, apples, citrus, and winter squash often have more storage tolerance than tender greens or berries when stored correctly. Even then, buy based on household pace. Fresh meat is another category where the package date can create false confidence. If you will not cook it within a safe period, freeze it promptly rather than letting it spend days in the refrigerator while plans change. Milk should usually follow your real drinking pattern, not your fear of running out. Buying 2 large containers because the unit price is lower can cost more if one spoils. Smaller packaging may have a higher unit price but a lower total cost for a small household. Fresh deli meat is a convenience food with a relatively short usable life after purchase. Buying more at once can feel efficient, yet the last slices may become slimy before you get there. If sandwiches are a daily routine, larger amounts can work. Prepared salads, cut fruit, chopped onions, peeled garlic, and pre-cut vegetables charge you for labor, packaging, and convenience. Sometimes that is money well spent. A person with limited time or mobility may waste less and cook more with pre-cut food. That nuance matters. Financial advice becomes useless when it pretends time has no value. If paying a little more for washed greens means you eat them instead of ordering dinner, the more expensive grocery may reduce total spending. Now look at the shelf tag, because this is where grocery math gets serious. The big printed price tells you what leaves your wallet today. The unit price tells you how expensive the product is relative to its quantity. Federal measurement experts encourage clear unit pricing because it helps consumers compare packages that use different sizes. In practice, look for price per ounce, pound, count, or another comparable unit. Unit price destroys one of the oldest grocery illusions. Bigger must be cheaper. Sometimes it is. Sometimes a smaller package is on promotion and wins. Sometimes a value pack costs the same per ounce. Sometimes the larger size is actually worse. Package adjectives are marketing. This is also your best defense against shrinkflation. If a package quietly becomes smaller while the price stays similar, the front of the package may not scream that change. A consistent unit price habit makes reduced quantity harder to hide from your budget. But unit price has one limitation nobody should ignore. It assumes you use the product. That is why the real formula has 3 parts: unit price, total cash outlay, and likely waste. Most grocery advice stops after the first. Your bank account experiences all 3. That is the better test. Private label or store brand products deserve a fair comparison. Federal research has long documented that private labels compete directly with national brands and can put downward pressure on prices. That does not mean every store brand is cheaper, identical, or better. Compare the ingredient list, nutrition facts, package size, and unit price. For basic items such as flour, sugar, canned vegetables, spices, frozen produce, and many pantry staples, the label on the front may matter less than shoppers assume. But personal taste matters. National brands can still win when they are deeply promoted, when quality differences matter to you, or when a coupon changes the final unit price. Brand loyalty is not automatically foolish. Blind brand loyalty is. Coupons are another place where saving can become spending. A coupon has no value if it moves an unplanned product into your cart. It can be useful when it lowers the price of something already on your list. The order matters. Decide what you need first, then look for a deal. Digital coupons add another layer. Some discounts require an account, an app, or a loyalty program, which means the lowest visible price may not be available to every shopper in the same way. Loyalty pricing can feel like punishment when the regular shelf price sits beside a much lower member price. The practical response is not rage at the tag. It is comparison. And loyalty programs are not just digital punch cards. They can create detailed records of what you buy. Regulators are actively scrutinizing how personal data can be used in pricing and promotional systems more broadly. Do not confuse personalized coupons with proof of personalized base prices. Those are different things. Retailers have long targeted promotions based on shopping patterns, while modern pricing technology can go further. Sales deserve the same skepticism. An end cap is a location, not evidence of a bargain. A stack of products at the end of an aisle can be there because it is promoted, seasonal, convenient, or strategically placed. Eye-level placement also matters because easy-to-see products are easy to choose. You do not have to believe every shelf position is a conspiracy to recognize that merchandising is designed to influence attention. Look high, look low, and compare. Store layouts can make a quick trip surprisingly expensive because every extra aisle creates more opportunities to remember, discover, or crave something. The solution is not to sprint through the store with blinders on. A list works because it converts decisions made in a calm kitchen into decisions you do not have to make while surrounded by packaging. But a vague list is weak. Snacks invites an aisle to negotiate with you. Pretzels and apples is a decision. Never shop your memory before shopping your kitchen. Open the pantry, look in the freezer, check the refrigerator door. This is especially important with spices and canned goods because they hide well and last long enough to be forgotten. Arrange them so you can see duplicates. Put newer purchases behind older ones when practical. The refrigerator needs a different system because the clock is faster. Create a visible use-first zone for foods approaching the end of their useful life. Date labels are another source of waste. With the important exception of infant formula, many date labels on packaged foods are about quality rather than a federal safety deadline. Terms vary, and consumers can mistake a best date for a danger signal. Federal guidance has estimated that confusion around date labels accounts for about 1/5 of consumer food waste. That is a striking number because the waste does not begin with spoilage. It begins with interpretation. Infant formula is different and should not be folded into casual date label advice. It carries a required use-by date tied to nutrient content and quality, and it should not be used after that date. This is a good reminder that money-saving rules have boundaries. Another costly habit is buying duplicate ingredients for one recipe. A dish calls for a specialty sauce, unusual cheese, fresh herb, and one obscure spice. You use a spoonful of each, then the rest slowly expires. This is why versatile ingredients deserve monthly space. Onions, when you use them fast enough. Frozen spinach. Eggs. Rice. Beans. Pasta. Canned tomatoes. Oats. A flexible protein. A few sauces. Meal planning does not require choosing 28 dinners in advance. That is where people make it exhausting. Plan a small set of repeatable meal types and keep ingredients that can cross between them. The smartest monthly cart is therefore not a list of products. It is a system of options. Rice can support curry, beans, chicken, vegetables, or eggs. Canned tomatoes can support pasta, chili, soup, or braises. Frozen vegetables can rescue almost anything. Now let us talk about the premium aisle. Words such as artisan, natural, crafted, protein, keto, wellness, and superfood can signal attributes you care about, but they are not automatic proof of value. Read the actual label. Some premium products are worth paying for. Organic labeling has a regulated meaning in the United States, but buying organic is a separate decision from buying efficiently. Do not assume the organic option is automatically more nutritious, cheaper, or necessary for every household. Single-serve packaging is one of the clearest convenience premiums in the store. You are paying for portioning, extra packaging, portability, and sometimes branding. For lunches or portion control, that may be worth it. At home, you can often portion larger packages yourself. Pre-shredded cheese, instant rice, chopped vegetables, peeled fruit, snack packs, bottled smoothies, and ready-to-eat meals all sell time. Time is valuable, so there is no moral failure in buying them. Beverages can quietly dominate a grocery bill because liquid is easy to consume and easy to market. Water from the tap, where safe and acceptable, is difficult for packaged drinks to beat on price. Now consider bulk clubs and warehouse packages. They can deliver excellent unit prices on products your household consumes steadily. They can also turn one shopping trip into a cash flow ambush. Bulk buying works best on predictable, durable consumption. Toilet paper, some cleaning goods, rice, oats, canned items, frozen foods, or household staples depending on the household. It works worst when the deal persuades you to experiment at industrial scale. Cash flow is another reason stock-up advice needs discipline. A household living close to the edge may not be able to spend extra now for savings later. That is not bad planning, it is a constraint. Start with one or two durable items when they fit the budget. The cheapest grocery store can also vary by your basket. One retailer may win on produce, another on meat, another on private label pantry goods. Instead of arguing about which chain is universally cheapest, track the 10 or 15 items your household buys most often. You do not need to memorize every price. Keep a simple note on your phone for the staples that matter. Milk, eggs, rice, chicken, coffee, bread, fruit, or whatever dominates your cart. Over time, you will recognize a real sale instead of reacting to a sign. A sale price should be compared with the normal price you usually pay, not with a dramatic crossed-out number you barely recognize. If the product is a monthly staple and the discount is genuinely strong, stock up within your consumption and storage limits. Multi-buy promotions deserve special attention because rules vary. Sometimes you must buy the stated quantity to get the deal. Sometimes each item receives the discounted price. Read the tag. Do not buy 5 when 2 would earn the same unit discount. Receipt checking is boring and powerful. Promotions can fail to apply, quantities can be entered incorrectly, and digital offers can have conditions you missed. Scan the receipt before leaving or soon after. Delivery and pickup change the economics again. Online grocery ordering can reduce impulse buying because you are not walking every aisle, but it can add fees, tips, membership costs, minimum order pressure, or different item prices depending on the retailer and platform. Federal regulators have taken action over misleading grocery delivery fee practices and have warned that a free delivery claim does not necessarily mean an order has no other mandatory charges. The lesson is simple. Judge the checkout total, not the headline. Reordering from your history is especially sneaky because it turns last month's choice into this month's default. Prices may have changed. Package sizes may have changed. A competing store brand may now be better. Convenience should shorten the search, not cancel the comparison. Now we can build the actual monthly list. First, dry staples you genuinely consume, such as rice, oats, pasta, lentils, or beans. Second, canned staples such as tomatoes, beans, fish, or soup. Third, frozen vegetables and fruit. Fourth, freezer-friendly proteins. Add coffee or tea if your household uses them consistently. Add breakfast staples that store well. Add baking supplies only if you bake. Add frozen bread or tortillas if that prevents waste. Add a few emergency meals. Then create a smaller weekly or midweek list for perishables. Milk, yogurt, fresh bread, delicate produce, fresh meat you will not freeze, herbs, and other short-life items. This is where you buy for specific meals and realistic appetites. The monthly shop creates stability. If weekly shopping causes too many impulse purchases, reduce the frequency and choose sturdier produce, frozen options, or delivery pickup with a strict list. If monthly stock-ups cause you to overbuy, buy smaller quantities more often. Household size changes everything. A family with teenagers may empty a gallon of milk before a single adult finishes a half gallon. A large freezer changes what bulk protein makes sense. A long commute changes the value of convenience. Dietary restrictions change the math too. Gluten-free, allergy-safe, kosher, halal, low-sodium, diabetic-friendly, vegetarian, or medically prescribed foods may have fewer substitutes or different prices. The goal is not to force the cheapest generic option. Location matters. Food prices vary across regions, neighborhoods, store formats, and access conditions. A shopper with 3 supermarkets nearby has more leverage than someone with one distant store. That is why the most ruthless truth about grocery saving is also the least glamorous. Consistency beats hacks. You do not need a secret aisle. Start with your last receipt. Circle the durable staples, mark the perishables, then mark every item that was not on the list. That third group is where the story gets interesting. Some unplanned purchases were probably useful. Now check the trash and compost honestly. What foods are repeatedly thrown away? Wilted greens? Half a loaf? Herbs? Yogurt? Leftovers? The answer tells you more than a generic, cheap grocery list ever will. Do not respond by swearing never to buy fresh food again. Respond by buying less of the foods you waste and making frozen or shelf-stable backups do more work. If spinach dies every week, buy a smaller fresh bag or use frozen spinach in cooked meals. The fix is not deprivation. Leftovers need a plan before they become leftovers. When dinner is cooked, decide whether tomorrow's lunch is already claimed. Freeze extra portions when you know you will not eat them soon. The refrigerator is not a neutral pause button. Labeling containers helps because mystery food loses. A clear container marked with the dish and date is easier to choose than an opaque box of uncertainty. Use safe storage guidance and reheat appropriately. Saving money is not about stretching questionable food. Portion size is part of the budget too. Cooking the whole package because it is open can create leftovers nobody wants. On the other hand, cooking a deliberate double batch can save money if the second half becomes lunch or goes into the freezer. The difference is not quantity. A monthly pantry should also have an open first rule. If 2 boxes of pasta exist, finish the open one before opening the new one. If 2 jars of sauce exist, use the older one first. Keep a freezer inventory on the door or in your phone if your freezer is deep enough to hide food. Write down proteins, frozen meals, bread, and vegetables as they go in. Cross them off as they leave. Do the same with the pantry only for high-value or easily duplicated items. You do not need a database of every grain of rice. Track the things that cause expensive repeats: coffee, oil, spices, canned fish, specialty ingredients, and bulk packages. There is also a psychological trap called sunk cost. Once you have overbought something, you may feel forced to eat it even if you dislike it. Do not let yesterday's mistake dictate a month of miserable meals. Food pantries and community organizations may accept unopened, shelf-stable foods within their guidelines. If you have safe excess you will not use, donation can be better than letting it expire in a cabinet. But do not use donation as a justification for chronic overbuying. Now look at the phrase family size. It sounds like economic information, but it is not a calculation. Families have different sizes, appetites, and storage. Value pack, party size, bonus size, and similar phrases deserve the same treatment. The same goes for premium packaging. Resealable zippers, rigid tubs, pour spouts, individual wrappers, decorative glass, and heavy cartons can improve convenience or storage. They can also raise cost. Prepared spice mixes are another example. They can save time and make inexpensive meals easier, which has real value, but you may already own most of the ingredients separately. Compare the label with your spice rack. Sometimes the packet is a smart shortcut. Sauces can make cheap ingredients enjoyable enough to eat repeatedly, so do not cut flavor to save pennies. But 5 half-used sauces in the refrigerator are not variety. They are stranded cash. Choose a small rotation you love and replace them when they are nearly empty. Frozen convenience food deserves a similar defense. A frozen pizza or ready meal may cost more than cooking from scratch, but it can still be cheaper than restaurant delivery on a chaotic night. Budget advice that removes every shortcut often collapses under real life. The distinction is simple. Strategic convenience prevents a larger expense or makes a healthy enough meal realistically happen. Mindless convenience is a premium you pay without noticing. Pre-cut onions that get you cooking may be strategic. Hunger is another grocery tax. Shopping hungry does not erase your self-control, but it can make highly appealing food harder to ignore. Eat first when you can, or at least go in with a specific plan. Shopping with children can change the cart too, because requests, packaging, and checkout displays create extra decisions. The solution is not to blame kids. Set a rule before entering: one chosen snack, a fixed treat budget, or no extras that day. Checkout is the final test because small items can feel financially harmless after a large cart. A few dollars seems tiny next to a $100 total, but that is exactly why add-ons slip through. Ask one question: would I have driven to the store for this item by itself? Grocery stores are businesses. They are supposed to merchandise, promote, and make buying easy. That is not a scandal. The problem begins when shoppers confuse retailer goals with household goals. The store wants the basket to grow. You want useful food at an acceptable cost. That is also why anger alone will not fix the bill. A retailer can lower one price and raise another. A coupon can make a branded item attractive. A private label can be a bad value. A warehouse pack can be brilliant. Every shortcut fails sometimes. Here is that process. Before shopping, inventory. Then choose meals. Then write the list. In the store, compare unit prices. Check whether the larger size will actually be used. Use promotions only on planned items. Keep perishables conservative. At checkout, scan the total. Once a month, reset the pantry and freezer. Pull forward older food. Build several meals around what remains. Restock only the durable items below your normal level. A useful rule for stock-up quantities is to buy enough to reach your next planned shopping cycle, plus a reasonable cushion for staples you rely on. Do not invent an arbitrary month of supply for everything. Track only what matters. You do not need spreadsheets unless you enjoy them. A short pantry note, freezer list, and rough weekly grocery budget can reveal most problems. Complexity is not sophistication. If you do like numbers, calculate cost per meal rather than obsessing over the cheapest ingredient. A $2 ingredient that creates 4 meals can be more valuable than a $1 snack gone in 10 minutes. Price matters, but usefulness is the multiplier. Protein often deserves special planning because it can be one of the more expensive parts of a meal. Stretching meat with beans, lentils, eggs, grains, or vegetables can lower meal cost without requiring every household to become vegetarian. Seasonality can also affect produce value. Some fruits and vegetables become more abundant or promoted at different times of year, while local conditions vary. Buy what is good, affordable, and likely to be eaten now. Canned and frozen produce should not be dismissed because it is not sitting under a misting spray. They can be practical, nutritious forms of fruits and vegetables. Compare added sodium, sugars, sauces, or syrups when relevant. The fresh department sells possibility. You see bright colors and imagine salads, smoothies, roasted vegetables, and a better week. Buy that possibility in realistic amounts. The goal is not the fullest produce drawer. The snack aisle sells possibility too, but a different kind. Convenience, comfort, reward, school lunch ease, road trip readiness. Those are real needs. Give them a budget. There is no price for cooking every ingredient from scratch. Sometimes canned beans are worth more than dry beans because they save dinner. Sometimes frozen chopped vegetables are worth more than fresh because they do not spoil. But convenience becomes expensive when every component is purchased prepared. Pre-cooked grain, pre-cut vegetables, ready sauce, prepared protein, bottled drink, and single-serve dessert can make a home meal cost much closer to takeout. Think of your grocery budget as paying for 4 things: food, labor, packaging, and risk. Whole ingredients make you provide more labor. Prepared foods charge you for labor. Large packs reduce packaging cost but increase waste risk. This is why blanket rules like always buy bulk or never buy pre-cut are weak advice. They ignore the cost of spoilage, storage, time, and behavior. The better rule is sharper. Buy the lowest cost form that you will safely use, enjoy, and finish. Now imagine 2 carts. The first is full of sale signs, giant packages, fresh aspirations, and premium snacks. The second looks less exciting: versatile staples, frozen produce, realistic fresh quantities, and a few planned conveniences. The first cart may look richer. That second cart also creates resilience. When your schedule breaks, you still have ingredients that can become dinner. When fresh produce runs out, frozen vegetables are ready. When you forgot to thaw meat, eggs or beans can step in. Emergency takeout is rarely caused by a total absence of food. It is often caused by an absence of food that can become a meal with the energy you have left. That is why your monthly list needs fast staples, not just cheap staples. Keep 2 or 3 15-minute meals available at all times, using ingredients your household reliably eats. The exact meals do not matter. The rule does. They should require little chopping, little cleanup, and no specialty ingredient that disappears. The monthly restock should therefore begin with those rescue meals. Ask, if plans fail tomorrow, what can we eat without ordering? Then make sure the ingredients exist. After that, restock breakfast, lunch, staples, and freezer basics. One final warning about deals. Scarcity language can make ordinary promotions feel urgent. Limited time, while supplies last, and countdowns push the fear of missing out. Sometimes a promotion really is temporary, and do not chase pennies while ignoring dollars. Switching one spice brand may save a little, while reducing food delivery by one order can save much more. Cutting berries you love while continuing to throw away meat makes no sense. The point is not to make grocery shopping joyless. Keep foods you love. Keep a treat budget. Pay for quality when you can taste or value the difference. Spend extra where it improves your health, time, culture, or enjoyment. A strong grocery budget is not the lowest possible number. It is the lowest sustainable cost for the way your household actually eats. If a cheaper plan makes everyone hate dinner and order food 3 nights later, it was never cheaper. Sustainability applies to behavior too. So what should you buy every month? Durable grains and legumes you use. Canned staples that turn into meals. Frozen vegetables and fruit. Freezer-friendly proteins. High-use cooking basics, spices, and condiments. What should you buy more carefully? Fragile produce, fresh bakery products, short-life dairy, deli foods, fresh herbs, prepared snacks, specialty ingredients, and anything sold mainly by urgency or aspiration. What should you question every time? Giant packages, family-size claims, member-only prices, coupons, multi-buys, end caps, premium labels, single-serve packaging, delivery totals, and anything you did not intend to buy before entering the store. What should you measure? Unit price, total price, how much your household will actually use, and how much time the product saves. Those 4 questions expose most fake bargains. A cheap item that gets wasted is expensive. And what should you stop doing? Stop buying for an imaginary household. Stop filling the refrigerator with intentions. Stop treating the printed date as the same kind of deadline on every product. Stop letting a coupon create a need. Stop assuming bigger means cheaper. The grocery store is not where your budget is decided. Most of the decision happens before you arrive. What is already at home, what meals you can realistically make, what your household actually eats, and which conveniences are worth paying for. If you remember only one phrase, make it this: durable monthly, fragile deliberately. Stock the pantry and freezer with versatile food that survives your schedule. Buy delicate food with a plan. Compare every tempting package on math, not mood. Your next grocery trip does not need a radical makeover. Pick 5 durable staples to track, create one use first area in the refrigerator, and compare unit prices on the products you buy most. Then watch what gets thrown away. The uncomfortable truth is that many households do not have one grocery problem. They have 3. Prices are genuinely high. Retail systems are built to encourage spending, and ordinary human behavior creates waste. You cannot control the first completely. That is the real purpose of a monthly grocery system. Not hoarding, not deprivation, not eating rice and beans forever. It is creating enough structure that high prices hurt less, promotions control you less, and good food gets eaten instead of forgotten. If this changed how you see your cart, like the video, and share it with someone who keeps wondering why a quick grocery run costs so much. Then tell me in the comments, which grocery item do you keep buying because it looks like a bargain, but somehow ends up costing you more?